Hi there. This tutorial will demonstrate how you can set up your project at the beginning so that you don't end up in a bind later on as you're adding layers and assets. Now, this isn't the only way you can set up your project, it's just a very good guideline. My example is not a completed project, okay? I just kind of threw this together. First off, I put everything inside of a folder, which, as you know, in Pro, you just click here on the new layer icon and you choose Group. All right, and that gets you a folder. So I've decided to contain everything into a main folder. And if I open up this folder, within it you'll see there's another subfolder for title credits. And inside that, there can be many additional layers, many items. The same for the end credits and additional layers and items within that as well. The next one below here is a switch folder for scenes. This isn't the only way to set up scenes, but it can be very effective and very helpful for you. If you have 2, 3, 10 different scenes, this can be a way to switch between them, even back and forth between them or just from scene to scene by using the switch folder. So for example, if I do a right mouse button click right here, I happen to have scene 1 and scene 2. All right, you could have 5 scenes or 10 scenes. So if I open this up to have a look at it, you can see here is the folder for scene 1, and I'll open this up. I have a character and I have a background inside of a folder because there are many layers inside that. And in fact, here, let me turn off the title credits so that you can see. And again, I just threw this together, so it's everything is from the props, but I've got my rigged character inside of a living room. You could have many additional assets within scene 1, folders, switch layers, whatever you need. So right now, scene 1 is the active scene inside this scenes switch folder. So if I right click and then I choose scene 2, it flips immediately to scene 2, and that's the active scene. Let me collapse scene 1 and open up scene 2. Again, I just have a couple of things in here. I have a rigged character and nothing special for a background, but you get the idea that you could have all of the assets, all of the folders, all of the layers for scene 2 within that. Okay, so what are the downsides to this? One is if you have the same character moving from scene to scene, then you're going to have to make a duplicate of that character, right? And put the duplicate of the character in each scene that you're using that person or creature, whatever it may be. So an option to this would be that you might just want to put your backgrounds inside a switch folder so that you can switch backgrounds but have your characters outside of that background switch folder. All right, and you can work with them that way. So the moral to this story is that it's going to help you a lot if you can plan ahead as much as possible so that you don't have to backtrack and try and stick things into folders or into scene switch folders while you're in the process of working. Let me collapse this, and I just want to go back and collapse all of these folders. Let me close this, and I'll close this. As I mentioned, I actually took everything. I put the entire animation, all of the folders, all of the layers into a main folder. So is this necessary? No, not really. But one reason why this could help is if this ends up being part of a larger animation down the road. So if you've got this set up into a folder here, and then you decide you're going to add this as a piece of something larger later on, you'll be able to import this into another animation, into another scene much more easily. It's going to be all contained within this folder. and then you won't have to deal with a mess of importing a bunch of separate layers and folders into something else later down the road. And one last quick tip that I've noticed lately with the new Moho 12, my system is more likely to lag than older versions of the software. I'd imagine that they still need to work out some bugs, and hopefully they'll continue to make updates to the program so that it's less of an issue. In the meantime, you can click on display quality, and not all of this panel is showing right here in my tutorial window, but you can choose low, medium, or high in terms of the display, and that really does make a big difference in the system lag. And also, something else not showing here in my tutorial window is at the bottom of this is the GPU acceleration. And you can turn that on and off as needed, and that really does help too with the issue of system lag. So give those a try if you need to. That's it for project setup tips, and if you have any other questions, just email me.